Sven-Goran Eriksson, a Swedish football manager and former football player, has died at the age of 76. I thought it was only fitting that I spoke about his legacy in an effort to pay tribute to one of the most accomplished managers in football history. If you are new to the channel, hi, my channel's name is Retro Saga. I have an interest in history, thus shown by my channel. I by no means mean any disrespect by making this video and only want to pay tribute to Sven Eriksson, his family, and all those who knew him. Anyways, let's get started with the video. Sven-Göran Eriksson was born in Torsby, Sweden on February 5, 1948. He would start his career in football in 1966, where he would primarily play as a right back for his local football club, Torsby IF. He later played for SK Sifhälla, another Swedish club. Eriksson's playing career continued with KB Karlskoga, where he ended his career early due to a knee injury. I think it's important to note that Sven Eriksson was mostly known for his coaching career, as his playing career was rather short. Some would see his knee injury as rather symbolic, as it meant for him that he could pursue his passion for football in a different way. Now, let's get into the details of his remarkable career as a football coach and his journey to bring many smaller clubs to victory. In 1976, Eriksson began as an assistant at Degerfors IF in Sweden. Now, this club was a modest profile in Sweden and had a rich history dating back to its founding in 1907. Eriksson was able to gain valuable experience in a professional environment. This role provided him with the foundational skills in coaching, player management, and tactical analysis. Working at Degerfors IF also allowed him to learn the intricacies of football management and build relationships within the Swedish football scene. Following his role as a coaching assistant at Degerfors, Eriksson moved up quickly in the football world. In 1977, just a year after starting at Degerfors, he was appointed as the head coach of Degerfors IF, showcasing his ability and readiness to take on greater responsibilities. Some would think that coaching a team is easier playing on the team, but to be fair, there are pros and cons to both. Being a player means that you have to be at the top of your game and be a team player, whereas coaching may seem less overwhelming of a task. Football is more than just fun and games. It requires a considerable amount of work and determination to push through for both players and coaches alike. But who are we to judge when we are just watching the game? Moving on, we would see the first win in Eriksson's career when he led IF Göteborg to win the Swedish Cup. For some context, IF Göteborg was founded in 1904 and is one of Sweden's most prestigious football clubs. It was known for its passionate fan base and tradition of success. The club provided Eriksson with a challenging yet promising environment in which to further his managerial career. This appointment was a significant step, as it gave him the platform to showcase his tactical acumen and leadership skills on a bigger stage. When Eriksson took over in 1979, IF Göteborg was looking to reclaim its position as a dominant force in Swedish football. Eriksson was seen as a young, ambitious coach who could rejuvenate the team with fresh ideas and a modern approach to the game. One of Eriksson's earliest achievements at IF Göteborg was leading the team to victory in the Swedish Cup in 1979. This was a crucial win for the club, as it was their first major trophy under Eriksson's management. The victory was seen as a statement of intent, signaling the beginning of a successful era for the club under Eriksson's leadership. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did one man beat every team he faced in the Swedish Cup? Well, the answer is his innovative tactics. Eriksson employed a disciplined defensive structure combined with swift counter-attacking play, which became a hallmark of his teams. This approach proved effective in cup competitions, where single matches can often hinge on tactical decisions. Eriksson's ability to foster team spirit and unity was another factor in the club's success. He brought together a mix of experienced players and young talents, creating a cohesive unit that played with determination and confidence. Winning this cup helped build momentum for the team and laid the foundation for further successes in subsequent years. In 1982, Eriksson moved to Portugal to manage SL Benfica. This was Eriksson's first venture outside of Sweden and was a bold step that set him on the international stage. For some context, SL Benfica was founded in 1904 and is one of the big three clubs in Portugal, with a rich history and a large fan base. It was known for its tradition of winning domestic trophies and competing strongly in European competitions. Benfica was an attractive destination for Eriksson, offering the challenge of managing at a higher level and the opportunity to further prove his tactical prowess. Eriksson was hired at a time when Benfica was looking to reclaim dominance in Portuguese football. His reputation for success at IF Göteborg, particularly his UEFA Cup triumph, made him a desirable candidate for the role. Now, I will talk about his achievements at SL Benfica. But first I must address the specific terms that you may be unaware of. Primeira Liga is the top professional football league in Portugal. This is not to be confused with Premier League, which is the top professional football league in England. In his debut season, Eriksson led Benfica to the Primeira Liga title, breaking the dominance of their rivals, FC Porto and Sporting CP. His team displayed an effective blend of defensive solidity and attacking flair, finishing the season with an impressive record. Eriksson followed up with another league title in the next season, cementing Benfica's position as the top team in Portugal. His ability to motivate and tactically organize the squad was key to maintaining their high performance level across consecutive seasons. In 1983, Eriksson guided Benfica to the UEFA Cup final, showcasing his talent on the European stage. Although Benfica lost to Anderlecht over two legs 1-0 away and 1-1 at home, reaching the final was a significant achievement. It highlighted Eriksson's tactical intelligence and ability to compete against Europe's best teams, reinforcing his reputation as one of the continent's rising managerial talents. Eriksson introduced tactical flexibility and disciplined defending to Benfica. His ability to adapt tactics according to the opposition and game situation was a hallmark of his success. He often utilized a 4-4-2 formation that emphasized organized defending and quick transitions to attack. Eriksson was also adept at identifying and nurturing talent. Under his management, players like Carlos Manuel, Shyuhan, and Nene flourished, becoming key contributors to the team's success. Eriksson's calm and composed demeanor helped him manage the pressures of leading a top club in a passionate football environment like Portugal. He was known for his effective communication and man management skills, which helped him gain the trust and respect of his players. Now, man management is the process of leading and coordinating people to achieve objectives. In Eriksson's case, it was his ability to lead his team to victory. For a manager to be successful, they must have strong leadership, communication, organizational, and people skills. Now, at this point, Eriksson had achieved so much in his career. He had helped clubs to achieve trophies in both national leagues and international leagues, showcasing his tactical acumen on a larger stage and setting the foundation for his reputation as a successful international manager. In 1984, Sven-Göran Eriksson left SL Benfica to take on a new challenge in Italy as the manager of AS Roma, a prominent club in Serie A. This move marked Eriksson's first foray into Italian football, a league known for its tactical sophistication and competitive environment. AS Roma was founded in 1927 and is one of the major football clubs in Italy. It is based in the capital city of Rome. It was known for its passionate fan base and storied rivalries. Roma was eager to build on recent successes, including a league title in 1983 and a European Cup final appearance in 1984. Eriksson was brought in to continue the club's ambitions domestically and in Europe. His appointment reflected Roma's desire to maintain its competitive edge in Serie A and to capitalize on Eriksson's growing reputation as a successful and innovative coach. The highlight of Eriksson's tenure at Roma was winning the Coppa Italia in 1986. Under his guidance, Roma performed consistently throughout the cup competition, showcasing strong tactical organization and the ability to handle high-pressure knockout games. In the Coppa Italia final, Roma faced Sampdoria in a two-legged tie. After a 2-1 victory in the first leg in Rome, Roma secured the trophy with a 2-0 win in the second leg away in Genoa, winning 4-2 on aggregate. This victory was a significant achievement, as it was Roma's fifth Coppa Italia title and added to the club's domestic honors. Eriksson brought a disciplined approach to Roma, emphasizing tactical awareness, defensive stability, and effective use of counterattacks. His methods suited the tactical nature of Italian football, where strategy and game management are highly valued. Eriksson was skilled at managing a squad that included experienced players like Roberto Pruzzo, Bruno Conti, and Carlo Ancelotti. Eriksson's ability to manage egos and build team cohesion was crucial in maintaining Roma's competitive edge. Serie A in the 1980s was one of the most competitive leagues in the world, with strong teams like Juventus, AC Milan, and Inter Milan. Eriksson's ability to adapt his tactics to this challenging environment demonstrated his flexibility and tactical intelligence. While Eriksson's Roma had success in the Coppa Italia, consistent league success was more challenging. Despite some strong performances, Roma struggled to consistently challenge for the Serie A title during Eriksson's tenure, often facing tough competition from more established squads. Eriksson's time at Roma helped him further refine his tactical approach and gain valuable experience in one of Europe's most demanding leagues. The Coppa Italia win in 1986 added to his growing collection of silverware and solidified his reputation as a coach capable of winning trophies across different countries. Sven-Göran Eriksson's move to IF Fiorentina in 1987 marked a new chapter in his career, following his successful period with AS Roma. Fiorentina, another prominent Italian club, was an opportunity for Eriksson to continue his journey in Serie A. However, his tenure at the club was less successful compared to his time at Roma. IF Fiorentina was founded in 1926 and based in Florence. Fiorentina is a respected club in Italian football with a passionate fan base. In the mid to late 1980s, the club was aiming to rebuild and compete more effectively in Serie A. Eriksson was hired by Fiorentina in 1987, following his departure from AS Roma. The club hoped that his tactical expertise and prior success in Italy would help them achieve greater success domestically and in European competitions. Eriksson's tenure at Fiorentina was marked by inconsistency in Serie A. The team struggled to find its footing in the league and was unable to secure a top position or challenge for European spots. Fiorentina's performance was mixed, and the club faced challenges both in terms of squad quality and competition from stronger teams. Fiorentina did not achieve notable success in domestic cup competitions during Eriksson's time. Despite his tactical abilities, Eriksson was unable to replicate the cup-winning success he had at Roma. One factor contributing to the challenges might have been issues related to the squad's depth and player management. Eriksson faced difficulties in building a cohesive team and implementing his tactical vision effectively. Up until this point in his career, Eriksson had always achieved success when coaching football teams, so let's go into what could have happened. While Eriksson was known for his tactical flexibility, adapting to Fiorentina's squad and the competitive nature of Serie A in that period may have posed challenges. The league was highly competitive, and adjusting tactics to fit different player profiles and opposition strategies could have been demanding. The level of support and infrastructure at Fiorentina compared to other top clubs might have impacted Eriksson's ability to succeed. Financial constraints, club management decisions, and other external factors could have played a role. Serie A in the late 1980s was home to several strong teams. Competing against these well-established clubs made it difficult for Fiorentina to achieve standout success. Eriksson's time at Fiorentina lasted until 1989. His tenure was relatively short, and his inability to achieve significant success at the club led to his departure. Well, everybody has ups and downs in their career, but Eriksson's remained impressive, and he returned to SL Benfica. winning another Primera Liga title in 1991 and leading the team to the European Cup final in 1990. Eriksson took over as the manager of Sampdoria in Italy in 1992, and his tenure at the club was marked by significant success, including winning the Coppa Italia in 1994. This period was a notable chapter in Eriksson's career, further establishing his reputation in Italian football. Sampdoria was founded in 1946. Sampdoria is a football club based in Genoa, Italy. The club is known for its passionate fan base and has had periods of success in Italian football. By the early 1990s, Sampdoria was seeking to build on previous successes and enhance its competitive stature. Eriksson was appointed as Sampdoria's manager in 1992, following his departure from Fiorentina. Sampdoria had a strong squad and a competitive edge, and Eriksson was seen as the right person to lead the team to new heights. Under Eriksson's guidance, Sampdoria won the Coppa Italia in the 1993-94 season. This victory was significant for the club, as it was their second Coppa Italia title, with the first coming in 1985. In the final, Sampdoria faced Ancona. The two-legged final saw Sampdoria emerge victorious, with a 2-0 win in the first leg at home and a 1-0 win away in the second leg, securing a 3-0 aggregate victory. Eriksson's tactical organization and strategic planning were crucial in securing this cup win. While the Coppa Italia was a highlight, Sampdoria's league performance during Eriksson's tenure was also respectable. The team competed effectively in Serie A, although they did not win the league title. Eriksson's tenure at Sampdoria is remembered positively due to the Coppa Italia win, which was a major domestic achievement for the club. In 1997, Eriksson was appointed manager at SS Lazio and was a pivotal moment in his career and leading to one of the most successful periods in the club's history. Eriksson led Lazio to the Serie A title in the 1999-2000 season. This was Lazio's first league title since the 1973-74 season and marked a historic achievement for the club. Lazio's title win was secured in a highly competitive season, where they narrowly edged out Juventus, their main rivals for the championship. The title was clinched on the final day of the season, underscoring the team's consistency and Eriksson's effective management. Lazio won the Coppa Italia twice during Eriksson's tenure. The first win came in the 1997-98 season and the second in the 1999-20 season. In the 1998 final, Lazio defeated AC Milan, and in the 2000 final, they overcame Napoli. Eriksson's tactical acumen was evident in these knockout games, as Lazio showcased strong performances to secure the trophy. Lazio also won the Supercoppa Italiana twice under Eriksson. The first win came in 1998, where they defeated AC Milan, and the second in 2000, with a victory over Juventus. The Supercoppa Italiana is a trophy contested by the winners of the Serie A and the Coppa Italia. Winning it twice demonstrated Lazio's dominance in Italian football during Eriksson's period. Eriksson guided Lazio to victory in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in the 1998-99 season. The competition, which was for domestic cup winners, was a significant achievement for Lazio on the European stage. Lazio won the final against Real Mallorca with a 2-1 victory, showcasing their ability to compete and succeed in European competitions. Lazio also won the UEFA Super Cup in 1999, adding another major European trophy to their collection. The Super Cup is contested between the winners of the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. Lazio defeated Manchester United 1-0 in the final, highlighting their strength and Eriksson's tactical effectiveness in European fixtures. Eriksson's tenure at Lazio is remembered as one of the most successful periods in the club's history. The collection of trophies, including the Serie A title and various cup victories, solidified his reputation as one of Europe's top managers. Eriksson's success at Lazio enhanced his profile internationally, leading to his appointment as the manager of the England national team in 2001. Now, folks, Eriksson made history as he was the first non-Englishman to hold this position. Eriksson's first major tournament as England manager was the 2002 FIFA World Cup, held in South Korea and Japan. England performed well in the group stage, notably beating Argentina 1-0 in a memorable match. They progressed to the quarterfinals but were knocked out by Brazil, who went on to win the tournament. The match ended 2-1, with Ronaldinho scoring a long-range free kick that caught England goalkeeper David Seaman off guard. In UEFA Euro 2004, held in Portugal, England again reached the quarterfinals. The team, featuring star players like David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, and a young Wayne Rooney, played some exciting football. However, they were eliminated by Portugal in a dramatic penalty shootout after a 2-2 draw, marking another tournament where England's hopes were dashed in the last 8. The 2006 FIFA World Cup in Germany was Eriksson's final tournament as England manager. England were again among the tournament favorites, but their campaign was marred by injuries and inconsistent performances. They reached the quarterfinals, where they faced Portugal once more. The match ended 0-0, and England was eliminated on penalties, with key players like Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, and Jamie Carragher missing their spot kicks. Eriksson's tenure as England manager is often viewed with mixed emotions. On one hand, he consistently led England to the quarterfinals of major tournaments, a level of consistency not seen in the preceding years. On the other hand, his teams were criticized for underperforming in crucial moments, especially given the talent at his disposal. Tactically, Eriksson was known for his calm demeanor and pragmatic approach, often preferring a 4-4-2 formation. However, some critics argued that he was too cautious and failed to get the best out of England's so-called golden generation. Eriksson left his position after the 2006 World Cup, having managed England for 5 years. Despite not winning any major tournaments, his impact on English football was significant, and his tenure remains a key period in the history of the England national team. After his tenure as the manager of the England national team, Sven-Göran Eriksson took over as the manager of Manchester City in the English Premier League. He was appointed in July 2007, becoming the first foreign manager to lead the club. His arrival at Manchester City was part of a significant shift in the club's ambitions, as they sought to establish themselves as a competitive force in English football. Eriksson was appointed by Manchester City's new owner at the time, Thai businessman Thaksin Shinawatra. With significant financial backing, Eriksson was able to bring in several new players during the summer transfer window. Some of the notable signings included Elano from Shakhtar Donetsk, Martin Petrov from Atletico Madrid, Vedran Korluka from Dinamo Zagreb, and Giovanni, who was a free transfer. These signings, along with the presence of talented players already at the club, like Micah Richards and Richard Dunn, helped Eriksson mold a competitive side. Eriksson's Manchester City started the 2007-28 Premier League season strongly. The team won their first 3 matches, including a 1-0 victory over Manchester United in the Manchester Derby, which was one of the highlights of Eriksson's tenure. The team's attractive style of play and solid performances initially placed them in the top 4 by the end of November. However, as the season progressed, Manchester City's form became inconsistent. Despite the strong start, the team struggled in the second half of the season, winning only 4 of their last 15 league games. This decline in form saw them finish the season in 9th place, which was a respectable mid-table finish but below the expectations set earlier in the campaign. Despite finishing in the top half of the table and achieving Manchester City's highest league position since 2003, Eriksson's position as manager was under threat due to the team's drop in form. Thaksin Shinawatra was reportedly dissatisfied with the team's performance, especially given the investment made in new players. At the end of the season, Eriksson was dismissed as Manchester City manager in June 2008, after just 1 year in charge. His sacking was met with criticism from many City fans and players who appreciated his efforts in stabilizing and improving the team. Although Eriksson's time at Manchester City was short-lived, he is remembered for laying some groundwork for the club's future successes. His signings, such as Alano and Petrov, brought a new level of skill to the team, and his leadership marked the beginning of a new era for the club. His tenure also highlighted the growing ambitions of Manchester City, which would eventually culminate in the club's acquisition by Sheikh Mansour in 2008 and their rise to becoming one of the most successful clubs in English and European football. Eriksson's time at City is often seen as a transitional period that preceded this dramatic transformation. After leaving Manchester City in 2008, Sven-Goran Eriksson was appointed as the manager of the Mexico national football team in June of the same year. His appointment was part of Mexico's effort to bring in a high-profile manager with international experience to guide the team through the qualification process for the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. Eriksson's appointment was met with high expectations in Mexico. The Mexican Football Federation believed that his experience in managing top European clubs and the England national team would bring discipline, tactical acumen, and success to the Mexican national team. However, his lack of experience in CONCACAF was a concern for some. CONCACAF is the football federation that governs North American, Central American, and Caribbean football. Eriksson faced several challenges from the outset. The Mexico national team was going through a transitional phase with a mix of experienced players and younger talents. Integrating these players into a cohesive unit proved difficult, especially given the pressure to perform well in World Cup qualifiers. Under Eriksson, Mexico's performances were inconsistent, and the team struggled in their qualification campaign for the 2010 World Cup. Some of the key issues during his tenure included inconsistent form, home defeats, and tactical issues. The final straw came in April 2009, when Mexico suffered a 3-1 defeat to Honduras in a World Cup qualifier. This loss left Mexico in a precarious position in the qualifying standings, raising serious doubts about their ability to qualify for the World Cup under Eriksson's leadership. Following this defeat, Eriksson was dismissed as Mexico's manager on April 2, 2009. He had been in charge for less than a year, with a record of 6 wins, 1 draw, and 6 losses in 13 matches. The decision to part ways with Eriksson was made by the Mexican Football Federation in response to the mounting pressure from fans, media, and stakeholders who were concerned about the national team's World Cup prospects. Eriksson's brief tenure with Mexico is often viewed as a failed experiment. While he brought a wealth of experience, his inability to adapt to the unique challenges of CONCACAF football and his struggles to connect with the players led to his early dismissal. For Eriksson, the Mexico job was one of the more difficult assignments in his managerial career, and it underscored the challenges that even experienced managers can face when working in unfamiliar football environments. In 2009, after his dismissal from the Mexico national team, Sven-Goran Eriksson took on a surprising and somewhat unconventional role at Notts County, one of England's oldest football clubs. His involvement with the club was part of an ambitious project that ultimately did not go as planned. Eriksson joined Notts County in July 2009, not as the manager, but as the director of football. His appointment was part of a bold plan orchestrated by a consortium called Munto Finance, which claimed to have substantial financial backing from Middle Eastern investors. The consortium had recently acquired Notts County, a club that was then playing in League Two, the 4th tier of English football. The project was highly ambitious, with the new owners promising to invest heavily in the club with the goal of achieving rapid promotions through the English football leagues, eventually reaching the Premier League. Eriksson was brought in as a marquee figure to give credibility to these ambitions and attract high-profile players and staff. Eriksson's arrival generated significant media attention and excitement among Notts County supporters. The presence of a manager with his pedigree at a lower league club was unprecedented. During this period, the club also made several high-profile signings, including Sol Campbell and Kasper Schmeichel. These signings, along with Eriksson's involvement, created a sense of optimism that Notts County was on the verge of an extraordinary rise through the English football pyramid. Despite the initial enthusiasm, The ambitious project at Notts County quickly began to unravel. Several issues contributed to its downfall. The supposed financial backing from the mysterious Middle Eastern investors never materialized to the extent that was promised. Questions began to arise about the legitimacy of Munto Finance and its ability to sustain the ambitious plans. Saul Campbell left the club after just one game, citing concerns over the project and the lack of transparency regarding the club's finances. His departure was a significant blow to the project's credibility. The club struggled on the pitch as well, and there was significant managerial turnover during this period. Ian McParland, the manager when Eriksson arrived, was replaced by Hans Backe, a Swedish coach with links to Eriksson. However, Backe's tenure was short-lived, as he resigned after just 9 games in charge. As the financial situation worsened and it became clear that the promised investment was not forthcoming, Eriksson's position became increasingly untenable. In February 2010, just 7 months after joining the club, Eriksson resigned from his role as director of football. His departure marked the end of the ill-fated project at Notts County. Eriksson's brief stint at Notts County is often remembered as a bizarre chapter in his career and in the club's history. The project at Notts County, which had initially promised so much, ultimately collapsed under the weight of financial mismanagement and unmet expectations. For Eriksson, the Notts County experience was a stark reminder of the risks involved in football projects driven by uncertain financial backing, and it was a notable departure from the high-profile roles he had previously held. In March 2010, Sven-Goran Eriksson was appointed as the manager of the Ivory Coast national football team, also known as the Elephants, just a few months before the start of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. This role marked another chapter in Eriksson's international managerial career, with the Ivory Coast being his second African team after previously managing Mexico. Eriksson was brought in to replace Vahid Halilhodžić, who was dismissed despite leading Ivory Coast to qualification for the World Cup. The Ivorian Football Federation sought an experienced manager who could lead the team through what was considered a group of death at the World Cup, featuring Brazil, Portugal, and North Korea. Eriksson's appointment was somewhat surprising due to its timing, just 3 months before the World Cup. However, his experience with high-profile teams and in major international tournaments made him a suitable candidate to guide the Elephants on football's biggest stage. The Ivory Coast entered the World Cup with high expectations, boasting a squad full of talented players, including Didier Drogba, Yaya Touré, and Kolo Touré. The team was seen as one of the strongest African sides and was expected to compete for a place in the knockout stages, despite the tough group. In their opening match, the Ivory Coast played a cautious game against Portugal, resulting in a goalless draw. This match was notable for being evenly contested, with both teams showing defensive solidity but lacking a cutting edge in attack. The second match against Brazil proved to be a difficult challenge. Brazil, one of the tournament favorites, showcased their attacking prowess with goals from Luis Fabiano, who scored twice, and Elano. Didier Drogba scored a late consolation goal for the Ivory Coast, but the loss put their hopes of advancing in jeopardy. In their final group match, the Ivory Coast secured a convincing win over North Korea. Goals from Yaya Touré, Romaric, and Salomon Kalou gave them a comprehensive victory. However, it was not enough to advance, as Portugal and Brazil progressed due to better results in the group. Despite finishing with 4 points, the Ivory Coast was eliminated from the tournament, as Brazil topped the group with 7 points and Portugal, with 5 points, advanced on goal difference. The draw against Portugal and the loss to Brazil were crucial, as the Ivorians needed to secure a win against one of the 2 stronger teams to have a realistic chance of progressing to the knockout stages. Following the World Cup, Eriksson left his position as manager of the Ivory Coast, having only been in charge for a brief period. The team's performance in the tournament was seen as respectable, given the strength of their opponents in the group stage, but ultimately disappointing as they failed to advance past the first round. Eriksson's tenure with the Ivory Coast is often viewed as a challenging assignment, given the limited time he had to prepare the team and the strength of the opposition in the group stage. Despite the early exit, Eriksson maintained his reputation as a manager capable of handling top-level international football, but the stint did little to enhance his legacy. For the Ivory Coast, the 2010 World Cup was another missed opportunity to make a deep run in the tournament, despite having one of the most talented squads in Africa at the time. Eriksson's brief tenure was a part of the ongoing search for the right formula to achieve success on the world stage, a quest that would continue in subsequent tournaments. After his stint with the Ivory Coast national team during the 2010 FIFA World Cup, Sven-Göran Eriksson returned to English football when he was appointed as the manager of Leicester City in the English Championship, the second tier of English football, in October 2010. His appointment was part of the club's ambitions to secure promotion to the Premier League. Leicester City was struggling at the time of Eriksson's appointment, sitting near the bottom of the championship table. The club had been recently taken over by Thai owners, King Power Group, who were eager to push for promotion and saw Eriksson as a manager with the experience and profile to achieve that goal. His hiring was seen as a statement of intent by the new owners, aiming to leverage his extensive managerial background to bring success to the club. Upon taking charge, Eriksson immediately set about reshaping the squad, making use of the January transfer window to bring in several new players. Notable signings during his tenure included Yakubu Ayegbeni, Kyle Naughton, and Saul Bamba. Under Eriksson's management, Leicester City showed significant improvement. The team climbed up the table, and by the end of the 2010-2011 season, they finished in 10th place, just outside the playoff positions. Although they didn't achieve promotion, the strong finish to the season, after a poor start, gave hope that the following season could see Leicester mount a serious challenge for promotion to the Premier League. The 2011-2012 season began with high expectations. The club backed Eriksson in the transfer market once again, allowing him to bring in a number of high-profile players, including David Nugent, Jermaine Beckford, Paul Konchesky, and Kasper Schmeichel. Despite the influx of talent and significant investment in the squad, Leicester City's performances in the early part of the 2011-2012 season were inconsistent. The team struggled to find form, hovering around mid-table rather than challenging for the top spots as expected. By late October 2011, Leicester City found themselves in 13th place in the championship, far from the promotion places. The club's owners, who were keen to see immediate results given the investment made, decided to part ways with Eriksson. He was dismissed on October 24, 2011, after just over a year in charge. Eriksson's tenure at Leicester City is often seen as a period of unfulfilled potential. While he did stabilize the club after a poor start to the 2010-2011 season and brought in several talented players, the team's failure to mount a serious promotion challenge in the following season led to his dismissal. Eriksson's departure marked the end of a high-profile, though ultimately unsuccessful, experiment by Leicester City. After his departure, the club continued to pursue its ambitions of reaching the Premier League, which they eventually achieved in 2014 under manager Nigel Pearson. Many of the players signed during Eriksson's time, particularly Kasper Schmeichel, played crucial roles in the club's future success, including their stunning Premier League title win in 2016. For Eriksson, the Leicester City job was another example of the challenges he faced in the latter stages of his career, where he struggled to replicate the success he had enjoyed earlier with top European clubs and national teams. After his time in Europe and brief spells in international management, Sven-Goran Eriksson moved to China in 2013, where he managed 3 different clubs over a span of 4 years: Guangzhou R&F, Shanghai SIPT, and Shenzhen FC. His move to the Chinese Super League came at a time when Chinese football was undergoing rapid development, with significant investments being made in both domestic and international talent. Eriksson took over as manager of Guangzhou R&F in June 2013. Guangzhou R&F, based in the city of Guangzhou, was one of the more established clubs in the CSL, but had struggled to compete with the city's more famous team, Gwangju Evergrande, which had dominated the league under Italian manager Marcello Lippi. During his time at Gwangju R&F, Eriksson quickly made an impact. He helped stabilize the team and improved their performance in the league. Under his guidance, Gwangju R&F finished the 2013 season in 6th place, a respectable position given the mid-season managerial change. In the 2014 season, Eriksson led the team to a 3rd place finish in the Chinese Super League, which was their best league position at the time. This achievement qualified Gwangju R&F for the 2015 AFC Champions League, marking a significant success for the club. Despite the strong league finish, Eriksson left Gwangju R&F at the end of the 2014 season, as he was lured by a more lucrative offer from another Chinese club. In November 2014, Eriksson was appointed as the manager of Shanghai SIPG, now known as Shanghai Port, one of the wealthiest and most ambitious clubs in China. Shanghai SIPG had recently been promoted to the Chinese Super League and were eager to establish themselves as a top contender in Chinese football. The club's ownership was committed to investing heavily in the squad, and Eriksson's experience was seen as crucial to achieving their goals. Eriksson's tenure at Shanghai SIPG was marked by further success. In 2015, Eriksson led Shanghai SIPG to a 2nd place finish in the Chinese Super League, narrowly missing out on the title to Gwangju Evergrande. The team's strong performance was highlighted by the attacking prowess of players like Brazilian striker Elkison and Chinese international Wu Lei. In the 2016 season, Eriksson continued to strengthen the squad, including the signing of Brazilian midfielder Hulk for a record fee. Shanghai SIPG finished 3rd in the league and reached the quarterfinals of the AFC Champions League. Despite these achievements, the club's owners were expecting to win the CSL title, and Eriksson was replaced by former Chelsea manager Andre Villas-Boas at the end of the season. In December 2016, after leaving Shanghai SIPG, Eriksson was appointed as the manager of Shenzhen FC, a club competing in China League One, the second tier of Chinese football. Shenzhen FC, backed by wealthy owners, was another ambitious project, with the primary goal of securing promotion to the Chinese Super League. Eriksson's tenure at Shenzhen FC, however, was less successful than his previous stints in China. Despite being heavily favored to achieve promotion, the team struggled to find consistent form. Shenzhen FC finished the 2017 season in 4th place, narrowly missing out on promotion. The failure to achieve the main objective led to Eriksson's dismissal in June 2017, just 6 months into his tenure. Sven-Göran Eriksson's time in China is remembered as a period where he contributed to the growth and development of Chinese football. His presence helped raise the profile of the Chinese Super League internationally, and he played a role in shaping some of the top teams in the league during a critical period of their development. Overall, Eriksson's stint in China solidified his reputation as a well-traveled and adaptable manager, capable of bringing out the best in teams across different cultures and footballing environments. While he did not win any major trophies in China, his influence on the clubs he managed was significant, particularly in helping to elevate the standards and expectations within the Chinese football landscape. In October 2018, Sven-Goran Eriksson was appointed as the manager of the Philippines national football team. His appointment was part of the country's effort to boost its football program and achieve success in regional and continental competitions, particularly the 2019 AFC Asian Cup. This role marked yet another chapter in Eriksson's extensive and varied managerial career, as he took on the challenge of leading a developing football nation. The Philippine Football Federation saw Eriksson's appointment as a way to bring experience and international credibility to the team as they prepared for their debut in the Asian Cup. Eriksson, with his vast experience managing national teams and clubs around the world, was seen as an ideal figure to guide the Philippines on this important stage. Before the AFC Asian Cup, Eriksson first led the Philippines in the 2018 AFC Suzuki Cup, a biennial tournament for Southeast Asian nations. The Suzuki Cup served as an important precursor to the Asian Cup, giving Eriksson the opportunity to familiarize himself with the squad and the regional competition. The Philippines performed well in the group stage under Eriksson, finishing second in their group behind Thailand, which allowed them to advance to the semifinals. In the semifinals, the Philippines faced Vietnam, one of the stronger teams in Southeast Asia. Despite a valiant effort, the Ascals were defeated 4-2 on aggregate over 2 legs, thus ending their Suzuki Cup campaign. Eriksson's work during the Suzuki Cup was seen as generally positive, as he helped the team reach the semifinals, showing that the Philippines could compete with some of the stronger teams in the region. The 2019 AFC Asian Cup, held in the United Arab Emirates, was a historic moment for Philippine football, as it was the first time the national team qualified for the tournament. The Philippines was placed in a challenging group alongside South Korea, China, and Kyrgyzstan. In their opening match, the Philippines put up a strong defensive performance against South Korea, one of the top teams in Asia. Despite a resilient effort, they narrowly lost 1-0, with South Korea scoring the only goal in the 67th minute. The team's performance, however, was praised for its organization and determination. The second match against China proved more difficult. The Philippines struggled to contain China's attack, led by Wu Lei, who scored 2 goals. The Ascals were outclassed and lost 3-0, putting their hopes of advancing to the knockout stage in jeopardy. Philippines won 3 Kyrgyzstan. In their final group match, the Philippines faced Kyrgyzstan in what was seen as their best chance to secure a win and potentially qualify as one of the best third-place teams. However, despite a late goal by Stefan Schwerk, the Philippines lost 3-1, thus ending their Asian Cup campaign without advancing past the group stage. While the Philippines did not manage to advance to the knockout stages, simply participating in the Asian Cup was a significant achievement for the country. Eriksson's leadership helped the team compete on a higher stage and brought international attention to Philippine football. His experience provided valuable exposure to the players and the national team, setting a foundation for future growth. After the Asian Cup, Eriksson's contract with the Philippines was not extended, and he stepped down as the national team's manager in early 2019. His tenure with the Philippines was brief but noteworthy, as he helped the country navigate its first experience in a major continental tournament. For Eriksson, managing the Philippines was a unique experience in his storied career, adding another chapter to his global managerial journey. His time with the Ascals is remembered as a period of growth for Philippine football, as the team gained valuable experience and exposure on the Asian stage. In 2020, Sven-Göran Eriksson, one of the most experienced and well-traveled football managers in the sport's history, announced his retirement from active football management. After a career spanning over 4 decades, Eriksson decided to step away from the day-to-day demands of managing football teams, citing a desire to slow down and focus on other aspects of life. However, he also indicated that he remained open to taking on advisory roles within the football world. By 2020, Eriksson was in his early 70s and had spent most of his life in the fast-paced and often stressful environment of football management. His decision to retire was influenced by several factors. After such a long and successful career, Eriksson expressed a desire to spend more time with his family and enjoy a more relaxed lifestyle. Managing a football team requires significant time, energy, and commitment, and Eriksson felt it was the right time to step back from those responsibilities. Eriksson had transitioned through various roles in football, from club management in Europe to international management, and even exploring new opportunities in emerging football markets like China and the Philippines. By 2020, he had accumulated a wealth of experience and knowledge, making him well suited for roles that did not require the intense, hands-on involvement of a head coach or manager. With a managerial career that included leading the England national team, winning domestic titles in Italy and Portugal, and working across multiple continents, Eriksson had little left to prove. His accomplishments in football management were vast, and retirement allowed him to step away on his own terms. Even though Eriksson retired from active management, he expressed a willingness to remain involved in football in a different capacity. He showed interest in taking on advisory or consultancy roles, where he could share his extensive knowledge and experience without the day-to-day pressures of being a full-time manager. Sven-Göran Eriksson's retirement marked the end of a remarkable managerial journey that spanned continents and decades. His career was characterized by versatility, as he successfully managed clubs and national teams in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. Eriksson was known for his calm demeanor, tactical acumen, and ability to manage high-profile players and teams. Well, that's it, folks. This is the legacy that Sven-Goran Eriksson leaves behind in the world of football. He was truly great at his profession, and his career shows it. Again, by making this video, I only wish to highlight the success of his career in an effort to pay tribute to Sven-Goran Eriksson, his friends, family, and all those who knew him. Be sure to share this video so that more people can be made aware of his accomplishments. That's all from me.